Hey friends, Venruki here with another YouTube video. Tonight, it's just you and me. I'm not live streaming. This is just exclusively for YouTube. I wanted to record a little video and just talk about, some things that have been on my mind with World of Warcraft, some things I've seen from the community. I think there's some frustrations, that I often hear when I am live streaming, and I figured, why not have a little discussion about it? Love to get the conversation going. So for myself, if you guys don't watch my stream, I've been playing a lot of WoW. So I'll show you my characters here. I got a level 80 mage, a level 80 arms, a warrior, a level 80 monk, a level 80 evoker. All of these are fully PvP geared. A level 80 warlock, a level 80 paladin, level 80 DK, shaman, demon hunter. This has been my new favorite thing to play around with. A second mage, a priest, and a druid. So the only thing I don't have at 80 right now is a rogue and a hunter, but I'm sure I'll get to those soon. So I've been playing a lot. Obviously, I'm a full-time streamer, but I actually genuinely enjoy the game. A lot of people will be surprised to see me, queuing things like Battleground blitz in the evening off stream, even queuing some shuffle on some of my alts off stream. I genuinely enjoy playing the game, but I do think there's some problems right now. So I'm gonna hop out of the game, and I want to refer to a thread that I was reading. Now I did look at this on my stream, but we didn't really get into too serious of a conversation. But I think some of the comments on this thread summarize the frustrations when it comes to the MMR systems and the rating systems and some of the things that are going on. So I'm gonna go ahead and read this. I don't mean to flashbang you guys, but let's read it. So this is titled, "Watching Peekaboo Getting Glad Last Night Made Me Sad." So this was 2 days ago. So they say, "We're 8 weeks in and AWC teams are finally getting glad while simultaneously being at the top of the ladder. I do not understand how we can have this happen. I get he's playing Feral, but the point is that the rank 1 teams are currently queuing at an MMR that normal glad should be at. The MMR inflation was way too late and weak, and most of my threes friends have completely disappeared to play other games. The rank 1 cutoff in threes is currently 2486. This is the lowest it's been 8 weeks into the season." Okay, so before we get it, into some of the comments and stuff like that, I did want to take a quick little look at the rating distribution curve. So if we go to Arena, so this is courtesy of Drusvar, by the way, if you guys want all your information you need from stats, shout out to Drusvar and Lika. So if you go here, you can take a look at the stats. So one thing you do, go to War Within Ladder stats, and you can check out the distribution. It'll actually show you a rating distribution, which is really neat. We can actually combine both regions. So instead of looking at only the US, instead of only looking at EU, we can look at them as a whole, which I think is more than fair. And we could take a look at the rating distribution. So you can see most people are around 1600 rating. And then it kind of falls off sharply after that. Old Gladiator, to give you guys a little bit of a perspective, like Gladiator in the Burning Crusade, Wrath of the Lich King at the end of the season, if you're the top 0.5%, so if you're better than 99.5% of people, you would get Gladiator, which is roughly about 2400 right now. So if the season were to end today, Gladiator title would be around 2400. And this is a little bit off, but that's pretty accurate, maybe a little bit more than 2400. And a rank 1 title is top 0.1%. So what is that? That's looking like maybe like 20, between 2500 and 2600. So like 2550 would be the cutoff right now for rank 1, which is pretty low this late into the season. And it doesn't really seem like things are inflating that fast. So most of the big rewards people are going to be going for are, things like Gladiator. Of course, you have things like your Transmog. You unlock your Elite set at 1800. And then there's a Tabard, I think, at 2400. You get a weapon enchant at some point. You get some, elite weapons you can unlock, I think, at 2100. So there are some rewards along the way, but the big one, obviously, is going to be that 2400 and getting 50 wins after that. And I feel like most players in the community feel like this is completely out of reach in 3v3. Not only if you, let's say you do sit in LFG or you do have some friends and you guys do decide to queue it up, you're going to be playing against literally the best people in the game. And I don't know, maybe some people think that's a good thing. Like in order to unlock Gladiator and get your Gladiator mount, you should be beating AWC teams. And I'm talking literally AWC teams. But I don't necessarily think that. I think that, you know, ratings should be a little bit higher than where they're at right now. So, you know, the people that are not super casual, still try really hard to be good at the game, can push it. I know I myself, I haven't been that motivated to play 3v3 arena. I think one thing that's motivated me in the past is obviously I like playing threes. And I just want to say, for the record, I think 3v3 arena has the potential for the most fun. So some of the best experiences I've had in World of Warcraft is having a team, 2 other people that I can queue with. We get better. We play against other teams. We figure out how to win. We're playing a fun comp. And we end up, you know, pushing Glad, pushing rank 1. Like, I think that is the potential for, or potential, I don't know why I'm saying it weird. I think that's the potential for like the most fun in World of Warcraft, in my opinion. Unfortunately, most of the time, that's not really what's going on in threes. Most people's experience is they're struggling to find teammates. When they do find teammates, they're giving up really quick. Rating isn't high anyways. So like, you're putting together a ragtag team of, you know, people that are probably pretty solid. Maybe you're playing a really good comp, but you're not going to be able to compete with, you know, these AWC teams that are, you know, playing some of their alts, and they just have so much experience. You know, they're playing for a literal career. And they are literally playing around 2400, and if you're not fighting them, you're fighting elite boosters. I won't throw out any, you know, specific names, but there's some people that are constantly hovering around that 2400 mark, doing gladiator boosts. And I do wonder what percent, like how many people that are acquiring gladiator are actually getting boosted and self-played, because I still think that is a massive problem that unfortunately is not really being addressed. And I think that problem compounds when it's so difficult to get 2400. Like, most people have, I think most people have just given up, which is not a good thing. And I know you guys probably think to yourself, Venruki, you talk about this all the time. And you're right, I do. And I will continue to talk about this stuff because I think it's important. But yeah, I just wanted to show you guys like what the rating distribution looks like. If you're like literally, if you're 2100 right now, you're like, man, I don't know, man. I'm hard stuck 2100 in threes. I can't seem, you're better than 95% of people you're better than. So that's pretty good at this point in the season. If you're 2200, you're better than 97.2% of people. Okay? And if you're 2300, you're better than 98% of people. Okay, so if you're over 2300 right now in 3v3, you're better than 90, or you're higher rated than 98.58% of people. So I still think the inflation in threes, as well as in solo shuffle, is a little bit too low. Recently, they did give it a nice little boost, at least in solo shuffle, which was nice. But it seems like they really pulled back on that. So they gave it a nice boost. It seemed like everything was good, but it still seems like it's very minor, maybe like 15, 20, you know, rating inflation every week, which still doesn't seem like that much. And, you know, I'm talking to people like Raikou. Actually, I'll pull up his Twitter really quick, 1 sec. I have a few tweets here that I want to show you guys. So let me just open up Twitter really quick. I'll take a look at what Raikou was saying, because he was DMing me and I was seeing some of the stuff he was posting. Here we go. So Raikou says, why did MMR stop inflating? 2.5 weeks ago, the game was alive and a lot of people were queuing because you could finally climb again. Now it's just stopped. Back to the old system. Why? Blitz rank 1 is 3,300 plus. Solo shuffle is 2,600 a rank 1. So yeah, still, it just feels like, I don't know why they don't want to push the ratings up a little bit more. It's obviously not, I mean, I want to say it's not that difficult for them to do, but at this point, with how deflated Glad is, getting back to this original post, you know, people are just giving up. It's like, there's no point of playing. I think the cat's out of the bag. When rating is this way and people realize there's no chance for them to really push into that elite range and actually get gladiator wins, they actually just stop playing. They stop playing and they just wait for the final 2 weeks of the season, because it's almost like an illusion of pushing rating. You're kind of just grinding, bashing your head against the wall, and then eventually in the final 2 weeks, MMR is the highest it's going to be. It's going to be the path of least resistance. You're not going to have to fight the A to C teams, hopefully. You're not going to have to fight all the elite boosters that, you know, ruin the game and all that good stuff. So I wish they just kind of realized that earlier on in the season and just let people push into their Glad wins. I don't see any reason why not. It's just a fun thing. It's not a big deal. I'm not mad if Sea-Doo, Sam-I-Am, and Trill are playing at 3,000, 3,100 rating, and, you know, some players that aren't as experienced are playing in that 23 to 2,500 rating and actually achieving their Glad wins, and I think it would encourage a lot more people to play. But let's look at some of these comments, okay? I'm going to go on too long-winded of a rant. Now, let's see what the community's saying. I think, or at least the community of Reddit is saying. I think the problem is that they abandoned threes and fully focused on shuffle and blitz, which now has 10 times more players compared to threes. It's doomed. And I don't actually think that this is true. I don't think that they've abandoned threes by any stretch of the imagination. I mean, it's still the main competitive format in the game. It still has the most rewards in the game with the gladiator mount. I just think people just want to be able to play, and it's a lot easier to play shuffle and blitz. You just queue up. Maybe you want to play blitz with your friend, you get a healer, you queue it up, you're good to go. Miss Hyde said, high rated 2s and 3s players wanted their elitism. They like turning people away at the door to their club to feel better about themselves. And guess what? Those people they turned away don't have to get back in the line anymore. They can go across the street to club, blitz, and shuffle. Now the M-Glad gatekeepers are just fighting amongst themselves in their empty club. Do I want regular arena to be revived? Yes, but will I laugh at the irony of what is that now? Now, I think maybe there's a little truth to this, but I think it's more so just an MMR thing, to be honest with you. It does suck fighting the consistent best gladiator and rank 1 players ever. And one of the things about World of Warcraft is not actually getting that many new people to the game. And I think one of my whole problems with this inflation thing, and it's something that I have mentioned in my stream before, is when inflation is constantly being put up and brought down, and it's kind of all over the place. And you have seasons where you have some people that have been playing the game for 20 plus seasons, and maybe in Shadowlands somebody finally hit their gladiator. Early in the season, Shadowlands season 1, season 2, they got their gladiator. Maybe the first season of Dragonflight, they got their gladiator. They're feeling pretty good about themselves. But then you have a season like this where, through no fault of their own, there's just not as much rating in the system because it's not being inflated as much. They just all of a sudden can't accomplish the same goals they did in the past. And you get this feeling of negative progression where it's like, okay, I was gladiator, and maybe I even feel like I'm getting a little bit better. I'm more dedicated to the game. I've made improvements, and now I can't get that achievement again. What the heck is going on? Or they think, okay, well, maybe I can get it, but it's going to be at the end of the season, so I'm just not going to bother playing, which sucks. And then that just leads to less people playing in general, and it's kind of like a snowball effect, unfortunately. So I think they need to be really careful when they're manipulating rating so much. And obviously, there's a lot of factors like how many people are playing. Maybe more people are playing blitz, so threes isn't as active. But that's why I think in general, I think I would like to see, and I've mentioned this before as well, I'd like to see just the whole reward structure just completely redone. These ratings over the years, to me, have just become completely meaningless. For example, in the AWC, we were doing player cards, and we were kind of highlighting some of the accomplishments of these players, and we showed their current rating. It was earlier on in the season. It was who are we looking at? Axton currently 2450 on the ladder. And it's looking at that, if you're someone who used to play 5 years ago and you're coming back, it's he's 2450, is he a noob? It's no, he's literally top 2 on the ladder at 2450, so don't worry. But these numbers don't mean anything anymore. So I think World of Warcraft is in desperate need of an overhaul on the way you get rewards, on the way you're ranked. I think we need a much more modern ranking system, which would be extremely healthy for the game and very important. Because I just don't think that this system is really working out. Even in things like Battleground Blitz, there's a problem with inflation, almost in the opposite way. So one really interesting thing, and I don't know if any of you guys have experienced this, but I can tell you for myself. So like I said at the beginning of this video, I do like queuing Battleground Blitz. I don't queue it on stream very much, but I like to queue it off stream. But one of the problems I'm running into is I have very high MMR, boohoo, but I have high MMR. I play between normally 2,900 and 3,000, which, is pretty good. But my actual rating is 2,100. So I have to only play at a very specific time in the day, in the evening, when there's people in my MMR range queuing, because there's not that many people with that MMR. So I'm playing against really, really, really strong opponents. But if I win, even though I'm 1,000 rating below my MMR, I'm only getting plus 15, plus 18, plus I think at the max is somewhere around plus 20 or something, which really is not that much. So it takes a long time, a big grind, you know what I mean? Waiting in these long queues where my MMR is 3,000, I'm 2,100, maybe I queue 4 or 5 games in a night, and I trade back and forth. I go 50% win. I've only gained like 40 rating, something like that, 40, 50, 60 rating. So it is a big commitment to push rating in that bracket. And I think, there's some frustrations on the MMR system on the blitz side. Maybe it's too inflated. I was looking at Rev. Revy was posting this. He said, nice blitz is literally 1,000 MMR higher than shuffle and threes. Very cool. So it's like, this is where these numbers just don't make any sense anymore. Like, you have people that are 3,600 MMR, 3,400 MMR. And meanwhile, in Arena, like the absolute max is like 2,600. We could take a look at it. Leaderboard for solo shuffle. Let's see who the highest rated player in the game is. 2673. So this seems to be like the cap right now. But keep in mind, we're like many months into the season at this point. So this really isn't that high. At the end of Dragonflight Season 1, people I think were like 3,600. So yeah, to me, it just feels so inconsistent. Let's take a look at some more of these comments. Shuffle and Blitz are just so much more accessible and fun compared to organized. Log in, queue up, do PvP, no drama. Besides the occasional salt, no waiting in LFG. Doesn't hurt that ratings and rewards are easier to achieve. It is true. The only problem I have is that now this is something that might be controversial to a few of like the the arena diehards. But the fact that there's no, like, I feel like some of the brackets are still really underwhelming in terms of the rewards. Like, I would be perfectly fine if like twos had some like kind of unique mount, or blitz had a mount, or you know what I mean? Like, we should be getting recolors of these mounts. Like, there's no reason why shuffle shouldn't have a mount. I tweeted that the other day. Like, why can't you get like the equivalent of like a gladiator mount for getting, the equivalent of gladiator and blitz and shuffle? I mean, these brackets are the most played. They have by far the most games. We can look at activity here really quick. So if you look at like activity last 24 hours in solo shuffle in US, there was 35,000 shuffle rounds played, 5,844 lobbies. In 3v3, there was approximately 3,644 games played. So these are individual games, 3,644. If you look at 2v2, 2,854 Battleground Blitz. Let's take a look at that, 1,500 Battleground Blitz games. But you can obviously see solo shuffle is still by far the most played thing in the game. I think people do like playing arena, in particular in World of Warcraft. Don't get me wrong, Battleground Blitz has been great, but the fact that solo shuffle and blitz don't have like some sort of unique carrot more than just the title, I think it's a shame for sure. And I would love to see them implement some additional rewards for these brackets, because I feel like a lot of people would rather just play these modes, and there's nothing wrong with that. I was talking with Supatees about this, like what's going on in League of Legends, and like the main competitive format in League of Legends is team queue, right? But pretty much everyone just solo queues. They just solo queue in League of Legends, and it's similar in World of Warcraft, right? Like I already mentioned, I think 3v3 has the potential for the most fun, but the fact is a lot of people, they just want to queue up and play. This guy says threes is dead. It's so toxic. I have 2,400 achievement. I'm currently duelist and rated solo shuffle, which is top 1.5% of players. And I'm struggling to find teams as a HPAL disc, meta healers. How can anyone expect to play this game mode? It's basically all multi-glad stuck at 1900 and blaming others for every single mistake. Rated solo shuffle is toxic, but nothing like 3v3. I had a hunter who for 3 rounds in a row used trap 1, says jungle. We lost all 3 rounds, and he said I was trolling and trash, even though I topped heals each round. Our team had no pressure at all. He was 1750, but go glad in SL, so I thought it was appropriate to spam whisper. How trash I was, blah, blah, blah. Okay. He says, I love 3v3, but WoW players killed it all on their own. I think that a lot of these comments are true, but I think the biggest issue is you just can't push rating. Like, if everyone, like right now, if everyone's rating was just plus 500, literally, I'm not kidding. Like, if everyone's rating was just like plus 500 or plus 400, I think a lot of the problems in the game would be solved. Like, people that are pushing into Glad and wanting to get Glad wins wouldn't have to play against the best players of the game and lose to them, which causes like these frustrations to begin with. Because I think losing sucks, but losing sucks more when you're just out of the range of actually accomplishing anything. Like, if you were losing but still like hovering in and out of Glad wins, it would be different. And obviously, like, not everyone's going to be able to get Glad, but we talk about like any rewards, because there's some people that just want the elite sets and they can't even get those, you know? But yeah, I kind of wanted to know what you guys think about all this stuff. You know, I make these videos quite often. This person said traditional 2s and 3s should die. Definitely don't agree with that, but yeah, it would be really, really nice. It would be really, really nice if we got some love. And I don't think these are the kind of changes, like a lot of these changes I'm talking about, how we need like a new, new rewards, and a new ranking system. I don't think those things will happen overnight, but I think it is worth, discussing it, because I'm seeing these frustrations pop up a lot in the community. And even for myself, like I just hit elite today. Now, keep in mind, I don't really try to push ratings that much right now. I've been playing a lot of alts, as you saw, so I kind of just play in the morning and mess around on a bunch of alts. I do occasionally like to push rating on my mage as Arcane and Frost, and today I hit, 2,400 8 weeks into the season. So I got my tabard, and I'm starting to work on my Gladwins, but I haven't felt that motivated to do it, just for 2 reasons, and this is me personally. The first reason is I just know it's going to be easier if I just wait. If I just wait for the last 2 weeks, it's going to be way easier for me to push rating. So it's like, why struggle through it right now? And the second reason is I don't think the mount is that cool. Like, that's another one. I don't think the mount is that cool this season. And that's one that, used to motivate me a lot. Like, I have a distinct memory of in Dragonflight Season 1, I think it was like Lontar, posting a picture of him getting the Gladiator achievement. And I was like, okay, I need to get this. Like, this dragon is sick. Now when I see people post their Gladiator achievement, the mount unironically looks worse than like just like a random not Venthyr. What am I talking about? Like is it Venthyr? What am I saying? Is that what I'm thinking? Venthyr, one sec. A bit of a brain fart. Yeah, the Venthyr. It looks worse than like one of the random Venthyr mounts. It's the same model as one of the Venthyr mounts, but it just looks unironically worse than just like a random rep mount you could get. So that hasn't helped either for me, but a lot of stuff's been cool. Like, I like the tabard. I like all the elite sets, or most of them. The rewards aren't that bad, but the Gladiator mount is definitely underwhelming, and I do strongly feel like the other brackets need some sort of Gladiator mount. But yeah, let me know your guys' thoughts. Where are you guys at in the season? What do you enjoy playing? I know a lot of people are kind of disappointed that we didn't see balance changes. There's maybe a spec that's out of line right now. Don't want to mention any names, but I'm sure you guys can guess what I'm talking about. Yeah, there's some specs that are out of line. I was a little surprised to see we're not seeing changes. Maybe they don't want to make changes during the MDI and with the the big ADPC tournament coming up, which I am really looking forward to, for the record. I think it's going to be really fun. But yeah, I think it's just like, I saw Magnus. This is like a final note talking about, the forbidden spec Beast Mastery Hunter. Magnus, the warrior. He made a Beast Mastery Hunter yesterday. He literally made it yesterday, or 2 days ago. He made it 2 days ago, and yesterday pushed to rank 1 on the ladder as a Beast Mastery Hunter. So yeah, pretty remarkable, what he's been able to do with 1 day's experience on Beast Mastery Hunter compared to, what he can achieve on Arms Warrior, a spec he's dedicated his life to. So definitely a little bit unfortunate, but yeah, it's been an interesting ride so far. Like I said, I'm enjoying the game. Hopefully you guys are too. If you guys have any questions for me, you can always hit up my stream. But like I said, in the comments, let me know what you guys have been dealing with this season. Are you playing? Are you liking it? Are you messing with blitz? What are some of the things you like? What are some of the things you don't like? I'm always curious to get your guys' comments and get like kind of an idea of where the community's at. But yeah, thanks a lot for watching, guys. Until next time, we'll see you later. Peace.